Only 4-5 people are there. They are responding. Yesterday we had discussed about brute force and what is another topic? There, what is the topic? Brute force. So what is the brute force? So what is the brute force? What is the brute force? So what is the brute force? Can anyone explain? Brute force. What does mean brute force? What does mean brute force? Brute force is a type of attack where we use the possible combinations. Where we use the possible combination. By using the possible combination, we are going to attack on the target computer. Attack on the target computer. And yesterday I had explained how to create a word list to do the brute force. How to create a word list? What are the tools to create a word list? One is the crunch, CRU in crunch, and the second one is the COL. Okay. Now today's topic. Okay. What is my today's topic? Is there? So here today's topic, what we're going to discuss is the what? Vulnerability assessment. Today's topic, we're going to discuss about vulnerability assessment. Vulnerability assessment. So what does mean vulnerability assessment? It is known as the VAPT. VAPT. What does mean VAPT? It is known as V means vulnerability, A means assessment, P means penetration, T means testing. Okay. So VA means vulnerability assessment. PT means penetration testing. Here, when you want to go for job, suppose I want to go for the job, here I just go here, check here, in the Naukri.com. The most of the jobs, they will ask you, they don't ask you like, they will recruit, like they won't recruit like hacker or anything. So they will be like this one. So what is this? VAPT. Okay, what is that? VAPT. I just type here VAPT. Okay, then search here. What it? When I search here VAPT, okay, these are the jobs are there. These are around 4,855 jobs shown in the Naukri. Okay, so the job role here, the thing is there when you learn the cybersecurity or ethical hacking. Here, so what you need to do? VAPT. They don't ask you to hack a particular computer or particular mobile phone, like your friend's mobile phone or WhatsApp account. They don't ask that one. They do ask to do the VAPT. 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 What is the VAPT? Means VA means vulnerability assessment. PT means penetration testing. The penetration testing. What does mean vulnerability assessment? What is the vulnerability? Can anyone send me the text me? Can anyone text me the answer? What is the vulnerability? What does mean vulnerability? Yes, weakness. Again, I am expecting more answers. Yeah, more than 40% of syllabus is over your. What does mean vulnerability? What does mean vulnerability? I'm expecting answers. What does mean vulnerability? Vulnerability is nothing but a loophole. Vulnerability is nothing but a loophole. So nobody is interested. Just కూర్చుంటున్నారు వాళ్ళ మొబైల్ ఆన్ చేసుకుని ఉంటున్నారు. I am asking a question that what is vulnerability? I didn't have even single answer. Okay. What is vulnerability? Vulnerability is nothing but a loophole. It is a loophole in the application, website, or a network or computer. That is known as a vulnerability. Here, what is vulnerability assessment? What is the VAPT? VAPT stands for vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. So vulnerability assessment to a process evaluate the review key systems to evaluate and review the key systems, networks, and applications. We're going to evaluate the what? We're going to evaluate systems, application to identify the vulnerabilities and the configuration issues. We're going to identify the vulnerability and the configuration issues that may put the organization at risk of the breached or exploited, effective identifying the vulnerability. If we don't find the vulnerability, then what happens? I have an application is there, Paytm application is there. Okay, I have an application there, Paytm application is there. If you not done any vulnerability assessment, I have not done any vulnerability assessment because I haven't found any loopholes. Okay, so without doing the vulnerability assessment, I had deployed the application on the production servers. Means that the Paytm application is running. Then hackers exploit, find out the vulnerability and exploit. And instead of the money will be crediting in the Paytm's gateway, so he will redirect his money, Paytm money, to his own bank account. But if we don't do the vulnerability assessment, it is mandatory to do the any application, system, or network. Okay, any application, system, and network and application do the vulnerability assessment. We're going to assess. So what is mean assessment? What does mean assessment means? After completion of your course or when you join a degree, after first year or semester, once it is all working days are over, then they will conduct an examination or assessment. Examination is nothing but assessment. Examination is nothing but examination, also known as assessment. So that what does assessment? What does the assessment? Why do they conduct assessment? To assess your knowledge. Okay. If you are learn very well, then you will get good marks in the assessment. Here, when you are having an application, okay, assessment can be vulnerability assessment can be done on the what? Where? In the application, network, and the system. Without finding the vulnerability assessment, without doing the vulnerability assessment, then it will lead to bigger security breach or data breach. Okay, so when you do the vulnerability assessment, we can find out the vulnerabilities. Okay, a process of evaluate, review key systems, networks, and application. To evaluate and review the systems, network, and application, and also to identify the vulnerabilities and the configuration issues. To identify the vulnerabilities and the configuration issues that may put your organization to the risk. Okay, we're going to review your application, network, or system. What is the penetration testing? A goal-driven test focused on identifying all possible routes. So, what are the possible routes to enter into the target? All possible routes of entry. Attacker to use gain unauthorized entry into the target. So what is the penetration testing? Goal-driven test focused on identifying all possible routes. How can you log in into the target computer without having a permission? And also identify the potential damage, and further internal compromise. An attacker will carry out once pass the parameter. Okay. Here, once he had done the penetration testing, there is a proof of he will investigate, exploit, and validate the extension of the identified vulnerability. Okay. So, what is the difference between a penetration test and hacker? So, vulnerability assessment is different, penetration testing is different. Here, this is a process to evaluate. Means that we are going to assess only. We don't do penetrate. Means we're going to do the attack. Whereas in penetration testing, we do attack. The vulnerability assessment, we're going to find out only vulnerabilities only. We don't do attack. Whereas in penetration testing, we're going to attack on the target and we're going to identify the vulnerabilities and we're going to exploit on the vulnerabilities. That is called penetration testing. Okay. Here, what is the difference between penetration testing and hacker? Okay, penetration testing, hacker. So whenever you go for job, they don't ask you, they don't hire you like they don't hire you like hacker. They don't need hacker. Okay. So they will always hire penetration tester. Penetration tester. So penetration tester and hacker. Here, penetration tester is like a white hat hacker. Is known as the. So penetration tester have approval from the senior management. So I want to do the testing, penetration testing for the web application. There is one website is there. That website name is the flipkart.com. To find out the vulnerabilities on the flipkart.com website, we'll take the permission from the Flipkart owner. What does we do? We take the permission for the permission from the what it? We take the permission from the Flipkart owner. For which one? For the penetration tester. Okay. Hackers have a prior approval from themselves. Hackers, they don't have prior approval from themselves. They don't ask for the permissions of the owner. Penetration tester do the social engineering attacks to raise the awareness. I'll explain you what is the social engineering attack. Hackers, social engineering attacks are trick them to divulging the sensitive information. If I'm doing the social engineering attack, he will extract the information from the target. So what is the social engineering attack? In the social engineering attack, we're going to demonstrate that how to create how to attack on the Gmail, then how to extract the Gmail password. By using the phishing attack, by using the social engineering attack, we're going to extract the Gmail. Means that we can hack the Gmail password, username and password, and also we can hack the Facebook and the username password, Instagram password in the social engineering attack. Okay. What does the difference between the penetration tester and the ethical hacking? Hacker. Hacker, they don't have any approval. Hacker proves himself. Hacker they don't take permission, directly attack on the particular target. Whereas penetration tester take the permission from the owner, then organization, then attack. Both are same. Penetration tester also do attack and hacker also do attack. Whereas penetration tester do attack, taking the permission from the organization. Whereas hacker, they don't take the permission. Okay, both find out the vulnerability, both do attack. Why do attack? Why do this penetration tester do attack? To know the security posture of your website or application or computer. To know the security posture, how much secure your application is, how much secure, your website is how much secure, or your network how much secure. To know the security posture, how secure is there your website or web application or computer, by doing the penetration testing. Okay. Whereas hacker also do the same thing, but you don't take the permission and directly attack on the target. That is the difference between the penetration testing and the hacking. Okay. Here, what is vulnerability? So what is vulnerability? What is vulnerability? Vulnerability means a bug, bug, or a flaw. Flaw means tappu, wrong. Flaw means mistake. A bug or a flaw or a state of being exposed to which lead to critical hacking attack from the hacker is called as vulnerability. If any vulnerability is there, bug or vulnerability is there, then it leads to hacking. Is known as what? Vulnerability. What is the vulnerability research? It is the process of the security flaws, finding the security flaws, in the technology are identified. We're going to identify the security flaws in the technology. So we're going to identify the security flaws in the Flipkart. I want to know the vulnerabilities or flaws in the Flipkart. That is known as the vulnerability research. That is known as the vulnerability institute. So what we do, so here this of the vulnerability research website, you can go for the securityfocus.com, vulnerabilitylab.com, and uscert.com, and pakistansecurity.com, nvd.nest.gov, and cv.details, where we can do the vulnerability research. Okay, where we do the vulnerability research. Here one website is there, security focus. That security focus. There is a website is there to know the vulnerabilities. What is the website is there? Security focus. Okay, got it? So what is vulnerability analysis? And vulnerability analysis is the process of defining, identifying, classifying, and prioritizing the vulnerabilities in the computer system. Okay, we need to find out the vulnerabilities. After finding the vulnerability, address the organization, and then create awareness for the organization. How to stop what we need to create awareness also. First, we need to create what? Organization to do the security assessment. We need to provide necessary knowledge and awareness to the organization to protect our web application or website or network. When you do the vulnerability analysis, find out the vulnerabilities, reveal these vulnerabilities to the organization and and also provide the necessary knowledge to protect from the vulnerability. Attacker perform the vulnerability analysis. To find the security loopholes in the target. Okay, in the target. So what does vulnerability analysis do? This vulnerability analysis do. So what does vulnerability analysis do? When you do the vulnerability assessment, this vulnerability assessment find out the all vulnerabilities in the website or web application. Once you find a vulnerability in the website, we take that vulnerability. By using this vulnerability, we're going to attack on the website or application or computer. This vulnerability assessment find out the vulnerabilities. When I want to do attack on target, first we need to find the vulnerability. In the previous class, I had explained you also Nmap also. Nmap also find out the vulnerabilities. Okay, Nmap tool also find out the vulnerabilities. Even Nmap tool also find out the vulnerabilities. Even there are so many tools are there to find the vulnerabilities. So what is vulnerability assessment? We're going to find the vulnerabilities and reveal this information to the organization and creating awareness and to protect from the attack by doing the vulnerability assessment. Whenever, suppose one application is there, WhatsApp is there. They created a WhatsApp application. Before going to publish on the Google Play Store, we are going to publish on the Google Play Store. This WhatsApp application is tested with a group of testers, penetration tester, and they do the vulnerability assessment. The group of penetration tester, they do the vulnerability assessment test. After doing the vulnerability assessment test, they found the bugs or vulnerabilities in the WhatsApp application. Then they reveal to the organization. They tell to the organization. So actually, WhatsApp is the Facebook. They will just reveal and they'll just tell to the organization Facebook. Then Facebook take the measures and what are the things to remove that vulnerabilities, to protect and to remove that vulnerabilities, how to protect them, this application from the vulnerabilities. The necessary action taken by the organization people. Okay, that is known as the vulnerability assessment. If you don't do the vulnerability assessment, you don't know the security posture. You don't know the security posture. If you don't know the security posture, what are the vulnerabilities are there? The hackers do attack and they will steal your information. Okay, here what are the objectives of the vulnerability assessment? Identifying the vulnerabilities ranging from the critical design flaws to the simple misconfiguration. We can find out the flaws. Flaws mean mistake or simple misconfigurations. Document after finding the vulnerabilities. These vulnerabilities are documented. They will document the vulnerabilities. So the developers and network administrators can easily identify the reduce the finding. Mean that after doing the vulnerability assessment, This vulnerability assessment report is shared with the developers who created a WhatsApp web application. There is a vulnerability there. They found the vulnerability assessment. Who will do the vulnerability assessment? Penetration tester. So once the penetration tester done the VAPT, after doing the VAPT, so it is documented. It is documented, and this document is submitted to or sent to the programmers who created WhatsApp web application. And these programmers, all the just go to the vulnerabilities there in the application, and they do the patch. And they do the patch. What it? And also tell to the network administrator to provide the necessary security measures. But it here, what are the types of vulnerability assessments are? External scans. So how many vulnerability assessment can be done? You can do the external scans, internal scans, environmental scans, post assessment, network assessment, and a database assessment. What are the most common type of vulnerabilities? The most common type of vulnerabilities are missing data encryption, SQL injection, buffer overflow, missing authentication or critical functions, missing authorization, unrestricted upload of the dangerous file types, cross-site request forgery, download of codes without integrity checks, weak passwords, path and directory traversal attack. And a list of the network list of the availability assessment tools. So what are the tools we do the necessity? What are the tools we do the vulnerability assessment? To do the vulnerability assessment, there are multiple tools are there. So one of the most popular tool is the Nessus. That Nessus. And second one is Accuritics. And third one is GFI LandGuard. And fourth one is Qualys. What are the Qualys? And a signed Nextpose, Uniscan, Nictoscan, OpenVAS, Jet Proxy. There are multiple tools are there. Vega, all these tools find out the vulnerabilities in the application. Find out the vulnerabilities in the application or a application or a website. What are the tools? Nessus, Accuritics, Qualys, GFI LandGuard, Nextpose, OpenVAS, Uniscan, Dicto. Okay, these are the vulnerability assessment tools. Here I am just go to the Kali Linux. This is my Kali Linux here. First practical we will do the vulnerability assessment. We're going to do the what? Vulnerability assessment. What happened this one? We're going to do the vulnerability assessment. Okay. But doing the vulnerability assessment, the first website, first application that is inbuilt tool that is known as the Uniscan. Right? Uniscan. What is the first tool? Uniscan. What is the first tool? Uniscan. Uniscan. Sir, what is the tool here? Uniscan. What is the tool we're going to learn? First one is the Uniscan. So Uniscan is a simple vulnerability scanner. It will find out the remote file, local file include, and remote code execution. What is the remote code execution? Remote means from outside. Remote code execution means my computer is there. So my computer is a target machine. And from the target machine, the target takes control my machine. Means from the target you do the remote access. From the target computer you do the remote access to my computer. Okay, and he will execute the command on my computer. That is called remote code execution. If any computer I want to hack, okay, that computer is a remote computer. Of course, that is a remote computer. So we'll do the command execution on the remote computer. So it will do vulnerability assessment, do the remote code execution. Remote code execution. Remote code execution vulnerability scanner. Remote code execution vulnerability scanner. Which one? Unique scan. Which one? Unique scan. Got it? So what is my unique scan? Unique scan is a web application penetration tool. With the rapid growth of the development of the web application, there is also growth in the vulnerabilities of the hackers are waiting outside. Okay. Finding these vulnerabilities can be difficult to manual approach. Vulnerability scanners are game-changing tool to detect the vulnerability. We're going to use the Uniscan. There are multiple Uniscans are there. There are multiple Uniscans are there. So this is the one tool we're going to do the vulnerability scanning. Okay. So generally, when you are doing the vulnerability scanning, vulnerability assessment, we need to take the permission from the owner. Without taking the permission from the owner, can leads to legal problem. Understood? What is that? Take the permission of the owner. Without taking the permission, if you do the vulnerability assessment, if any damage you done, because vulnerability assessment tool some inject some remote code execute remote code. Then sometimes the vulnerability, when you are doing the vulnerability assessment, sometimes the website or web application goes down. So then you are like legally they will going to legally going to proceed on you. So take the first permission. Okay. Here first I log into the root. First I want to log into the root. Okay, so log into the root. Okay. So then I just press Control plus plus to zoom. Here I use a command called Uniscan. Okay, Uniscan. There is inbuilt tool is there. Inbuilt tool is there that is called Uniscan. Uniscan minus U. Uniscan minus U means URL. Means URL. Here I'll tell you show you the steps. Okay, the Uniscan, how to use the Uniscan. See this help Uniscan. If you observe this, Uniscan minus U means URL. Which URL, which website you want to find out the vulnerabilities. First, I want to do the hacking of the website or web application. First, we need to do the vulnerability assessment. We need to do the what? Vulnerability assessment. To do the vulnerability assessment, I am using the tool called Uniscan. Called as a Uniscan. How to use Uniscan? You don't need to install the Uniscan on the Kali Linux. It was already installed. How to do vulnerability assessment? U means URL. Which URL or which website you want to do the vulnerability assessment. Minus F means list of URLs. What is that? What is it? Minus B means the Uniscan will run the background. So minus Q means what are the directories are there in the directories, means folders are there in the website. And minus W means what are the files are there. What are the files are there? Minus E means robot.txt file. What does mean robot.txt file? There is one file is there, robot.txt file, which will start to do the crawling, Google crawling. Okay. What is minus do? Minus D to do the dynamic check. What is minus S? To do the static checks. What is minus R? To do the stress check. Stress, how much is there? These are the options are there. Got it? So now I'm going to do the Uniscan. See Uniscan. Here, I just type a command and I had taken a website. You can take any website, but take the permission. I'm taking this website. I'm taking this website. Don't take the don't do the vulnerability assessment without taking the permission from the owner. Okay, this is the website I am taking here. Okay, here we are going to do the vulnerability assessment. Okay, vulnerability assessment. Here Uniscan minus U, Uniscan minus U, followed by the website name, followed by the what? Minus QWEDS. What is that? Minus QEWS. What is my Q here? What is my Q here? Q means what is W? File checks. Robot.txt. Then dynamic checks. These are the options of it. Which thing you want to find out? You need to give that statement. Here, I am giving the QWEDS. Then enter. It takes nearly half an hour to 1 hour. Half an hour nunchi em padutundi 1 hour padutundi. After that, it will generate a vulnerability assessment. Vulnerability assessment. అంతసేపు మనం వెయిట్ చేయము. చూడండి ఆల్రెడీ స్టార్టెడ్. It was already started. Okay. ఓకేనా, ఆల్రెడీ స్టార్ట్ చేసి చూడండి. ఇది డొమైన్ నేమ్, ఆల్రెడీ వెబ్ సర్వర్ చూపిస్తోంది, ఆల్రెడీ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ చూపిస్తోంది. ఏంది వెబ్సైట్ది. ఇప్పుడు చూస్తే కింద చూస్తే ఒక హాఫ్ అన్ అవర్ 20 minutes పెట్టిన తర్వాత అదేం చేస్తుందంటే వనరబిలిటీ అసెస్మెంట్ ని జనరేట్ చేస్తుంది. వనరబిలిటీ అసెస్మెంట్ రిపోర్ట్ ని జనరేట్ చేస్తాం. అంటే ఏ వనరబిలిటీస్ ఉంటాయి, ఏ వనరబిలిటీస్ ఉంటాయని చెప్పాను. వాట్ ఆర్ ద వనరబిలిటీస్ ఆర్ దేర్? వాట్ ఆర్ ద వనరబిలిటీస్ ఆర్ దేర్? వాట్ ఆర్ ద వనరబిలిటీస్? వాట్ ఆర్ ద వనరబిలిటీస్ ఆర్ దేర్? Missing data encryptions, SQL injection. What type of vulnerabilities find out? Missing data encryption, SQL injection, buffer overflow, missing authentication for critical function, missing authorization, unrestricted upload of the dangerous file, cross-site request forgery, download of codes without integrity checks, weak password, path directory travel. These all vulnerabilities shown by the vulnerability assessment tool. So now doing the vulnerability assessment. Doing the vulnerability assessment. Okay? Okay, na? Doing the what? Vulnerability assessment. Okay? So it is doing the vulnerability assessment. You see this? Doing the vulnerability assessment here. And also find out the directory checks. So what are the directories? Here there are multiple URLs that is having directories. Where are the directories there? One directory is nothing but folder. So it find out that one by one it do. After half an hour, it maybe takes 1 day also to do the vulnerability test. If the big website is the Flipkart website, is very big website, takes nearly 1 day also. It may be 1 day or half day or 2 days and 2 hours, 1 hour. Show the all vulnerabilities. It find out the all vulnerabilities, list the vulnerabilities. After finding the vulnerability, the report will be generated. The report will be generated. Okay. So I had already done a vulnerability assessment. Already have done a vulnerability assessment this website. Suppose they want to do the data pro, you can do the data pro also, but we need to take the permission. Which website? This website also, this is my website. You can do the vulnerability assessment. For any website, you can do the vulnerability assessment. But thing is there, it is what? It is illegal to do the vulnerability assessment without taking the permission. Okay, na? Illegal adi. Okay. Can cheyalanukoni మీరు చేసుకోవచ్చు. You can do. Okay, got it? Understand? So yeah, this background it is doing the vulnerability assessment. Doing the what? Vulnerability assessment. Background doing the vulnerability assessment. Okay, doing the vulnerability assessment. I had already done the vulnerability assessment. Yeah, already done the vulnerability assessment. So that report is generated like in 2 days back, 3 days back, I done the vulnerability assessment. Here it will generated a documentation, Uniscan, default report folder. So this is the path where the report is there. What is the path here? The report is saved in the path where report already saved. Because it takes half an hour, 1 hour. This is a small website. Even though it is a small website, takes a half an hour, 1 hour. So for this one, I have already having one report is there which is created in the yesterday. Okay, it is created in the yesterday. I just log into the background viewing. Here, this is the location. Okay, this is the location where the report is there. Okay, just go to the CD and type ls. So where is the location? What is the here? Yes. The report is generated in which folder? user slash share uniscan report. This one report is there. I just open this report, followed by the cat is the command to view the file. To view the file. So this is the report. See this, these are the vulnerabilities are there. This website having all vulnerabilities. So what are the vulnerabilities are there? SQL injection. This in future will use this vulnerability, will going to attack on the website. Attack on the website. So there are multiple uh, vulnerabilities are there. See this, find out the vulnerability, shows the target IP address. These are the target IP address, and these are the URLs. The folders are there. Folders are there. See this. So there is another thing is there. You have emails, and this is having a SQL injection. See this. It shows that SQL injection means there is vulnerability there. Mean that we can penetrate into the website. We can attack. We can attack means we can. There is a vulnerability is there in the website. Means that this website can be hacked easily. It shows the vulnerability. What is the vulnerability here? SQLi means SQLi means SQL injection is there. This SQL injection we're going to do. We're going to learn in the future. What is my SQL injection? So by doing the SQL injection, we can hack the website or we can extract the database from the website. It found out the some of the vulnerabilities of the SQL injection. So these are all the vulnerabilities. These are vulnerable links are there. So there is another link is there, cross-site scripting. We will discuss about in future about cross-site scripting. There is one vulnerable link is there in the cross-site scripting. Okay, got it? Vulnerable link is in the cross-site scripting. It shows the all vulnerabilities, and we need to document it. I already documented this one. So after documented this one, the report is submitted to the organization and programmers, the who created an application, and they will do the necessary step, and they do the patching. Means they will rectify or they will edit the code. They will write down the new code to find to reduce this vulnerabilities. What is the first tool is there? What is the first tool? There, Uniscan. What is the first tool? Uniscan. So clear? Third tool, Uniscan. Actually, it is running in the background. Here, it is running in the background. Okay, because it take half an hour, so we can't wait for that much of time. For that one, already had done the vulnerability assessment particular website, and report is generated in the particular folder. So now it is running in the background. So okay, I'll just go to the another tool that is called as Dicto. Okay, it's called as what? Dicto. So what is another tool? Nikto is a widely used open source web server vulnerability scanner. Open source web server vulnerability scanner that helps identify the potential security issues. It is designed to quickly scan web servers. It will scan the web servers and applications, go range of problems, including the outdated software, insecure files, and misconfiguration. Nikto is a free open source. Make it accessible to a wide range of users, from cybersecurity professional to students and hobbyists. So why do you use Nikto? From the Nikto, by using Nikto, we can know the vulnerability detection. Vulnerability detection means the Nikto scan for vast variety of vulnerabilities, including the server misconfiguration, insecure files, and outdated version. Okay, so Nikto is designed to fast and provide the detailed results of the short amount. Within the short amount of time, it will find out the vulnerabilities. Open source and free mean that you don't need to pay anything. Okay? Okay, now? Who will use the Nikto? We use the security professionals. Every jastaran? And who use penetration testers? Okay, now? So now this Nikto is already installed. This Nikto is already installed, my Kali Linux. Again, go here. Just stop. Stop here. Yeah, again go to the this one. Here, I type the command called Nikto tool. What is the tool command? Nikto. Yeah, Nikto. Okay. Now I use the Nicto. Followed by the one website is there, that is the Lakshya.in. That is HTTPS site. Okay, there is a student portal like a Data Pro Institute. It is not to do the vulnerability assessment without doing the permission. I am doing the one website, taken another website. Okay, and do the vulnerability assessment. Wait, do the vulnerability assessment. After doing the vulnerability assessment, find out the all vulnerabilities. So already find out the target IP address and target host name, which port is running. Okay. So this started the which server they are using, Nginx 1.234, and also listing the vulnerabilities here, or listing the, see this listing the vulnerabilities. Cookie PHP session created without HTTP, cookie PHP session ID create without secure flag, and there is a one common uncommon header, this express catch is there, like that, listing the all vulnerabilities. We'll wait for 2-3 minutes. Here, one by one, show the all vulnerabilities. Shows the all vulnerabilities. One by one, all shows the vulnerabilities. Okay. In future, we take this vulnerability. In future, what we're going to do, we'll take these vulnerabilities. Then, by taking this vulnerability, we're going to take control of the website or web application. Okay, understood? First, we need to find out the vulnerabilities. నిద్రపోతుండ్రా నిద్రపోతుండ్రా okay, I'll set then as the assessment is there. The assessment is sent to you. All of you attend the assessment. Okay, the questions will be like Linux commands and nmap nmap tools, nmap commands, enumeration command. Okay, so watch the previous videos and attend the all questions. They will give the 25 questions to you. So now doing the assessment. Doing the assessment. Got it? So show the vulnerability assessment, show the vulnerabilities. See this. This file may contain the database IDs and password. See this file. What does this file contains? The database IDs and password. So it is showing the different files are there. It also contains the vulnerabilities. See this vulnerability is there in this website. In future, we're going to take the same website, we're going to attack on the website, we're going to directly log into the website, we'll do some changes in the website. We'll take control of this website in future, in the SQL injection. First, we need to do the vulnerability assessment. Here I am doing the vulnerability assessment. I had used two tools. First one is the Uniscan, and second one is the what? Second one is the Nikto. Got it? So now I do the vulnerability scanning. Vulnerability scanning chain in దానికి అది వేసిన తర్వాత vulnerability చేస్తుంది. Just stop here. Okay, got it? Stop here. Okay. Next thing, there is another tool that is called as a jet proxy. There is another tool that is known as the jet proxy. This is also most of the people use. What is the tool here? Jet proxy. Here, this is the tool. Okay, jet attack proxy, the world mostly used web application scanner. Okay, this is the mostly used web application scanner. Which one? Jet attack proxy, ZAP. So we can scan the web application. We can scan the web application and find out the vulnerabilities. A community-based GitHub top 1000 projects that anyone can contribute. Which one? Jet proxy. Jet proxy is also a vulnerability scanner. Got it? Jet proxy is also a what? It is a vulnerability scanner. It is also to know the penetration testing, to do the penetration testing. Here, see this is already inbuilt with the Kali Linux. You don't need to install. The OSAP Jet proxy is an easy to integrate penetration testing tool to find out the vulnerabilities in the web application. Find out the vulnerabilities in the web application. It is used by the people wide range of the security experience, such as ideal for developers and functional testers who are new to penetration tester, as well as the usual addition to experience the penetration tester. Which one? Jet proxy. Which one? Jet proxy. Here, I'm going to use another tool, the Kali Linux. Okay, another tool that is called as a jet proxy. So what is the tool here? Jet proxy. Okay, so just to open this jet proxy, we need to type here command prompt line type cheyale. We need to type jet proxy. Okay, so then wait here. It will open the jet proxy. It will open the jet proxy. It is a graphical tool. It is a graphical tool. Okay, so now opening the jet proxy. It is a graphical tool. Remember that it's not a command line tool. Now opening jet proxy. Just select no and start. And start. Here, see this. If you see this, there is an option is there: automated scan, manual explore, support and learn more. So to do the testing, here click on the automated scan. Here we need to URL you need to attack. URL we need to attack. So I'll just go to the URL. I take the URL. One URL that is called as a I'll take this URL. I'll take this website. I'll take the site. Okay, previous website also you can take. I'll take this website and go to the Z proxy here. URL to attack. Here Control V. Control V. So then here, there is option is there. What? Attack. Okay, there is a multiple option is there. Which URL you use, which browser you are using, which browser you are using. Here, click on the attack. When it will do the vulnerability, show this. See this. It shows the vulnerability links already started. So after that, we can select after doing the vulnerability assessment. It shows in the alerts what are the vulnerabilities are there. Shows the alerts and the vulnerabilities here. Just here. So show this. It is showing the vulnerabilities. See this. These are vulnerabilities are there. Okay, vulnerabilities are there. So here, these are alerts are there. Here vulnerabilities are there. Missing anti-clacking clickjacking header. Missing anti-clickjacking header. Cookie without same site attribute. Cross-domain JavaScript source file inclusion. There are multiple vulnerabilities showing this cookie without same site attribute. So there is a cross-domain. There are multiple the information disclosure. The modern application. All this shows the vulnerabilities. Okay, I'll show the what vulnerabilities. Which tool? Which tool? Z proxy. Okay. So Z proxy. So remaining tools we'll discuss on the Monday. Okay. So what are the tools we are discussing today? So one is the tool is Uniscan. Second one is the Necto. Third one is the Z proxy. So to attack on the website, first we need to know the vulnerabilities. Know the vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities can use it by using the vulnerability tools. Okay. So now I used a few tools. Then even also I told you that we can use the Nmap also. What is that? You can use the Nmap also. So by using the Nmap also we can find out the vulnerability. I told you that how to know the vulnerability. To know the vulnerability here. To know the vulnerability here by using Nmap. So I want to check vulnerabilities in my computer. Just go to the CMD, type ipconfig, make local computer. I want to check the vulnerabilities. What is the IP address here? 192.168.211. Then how you use the Nmap? So there is a command called script engine. What is the command is called? Script engine. This command I already explain you. Nmap script engine. Sorry. What is the command? Nmap hyphen script followed by the vulnerability followed by the website name or a target IP address or a network. It find out the vulnerability. Find out the vulnerability. What it or not? Yeah, this is the target IP address. Or you can enter the website name. So it takes nearly 10 minutes to do the find out the vulnerability and list the vulnerability. By taking the vulnerability, we're going to attack on the target computer or application or a website. What it? What it? Any doubt? Any doubt?